best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio with my guest. You know him from Wings. You know him from Chicago Med. You know him from tons of other stuff. He's a star of Broadway. He does a ton of audiobooks, film, TV, a prolific writer, a father, and now he's co-hosting a podcast called Eating Out with Eric and Steven. Although I am going to have to ask him, was that a vowel thing? Because I also think it could have been like Steven and Eric. We'll get into it. Please put your hands together for Steven WEBER.
Listen to that applause. Oh, that's all right.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
No, there's normally
there is applause.
It's not even
fine.
a smattering. It's like a thunderclap of applause.
But see, my demographic are all kind of beatniks, and they do that.
Please, and do they
snap?
Do they? But back in the beatnik era,
Sure, ask me about that.
yes,
Yeah,
when you were
hanging in with Jack Kerouac.
coming up,
Yeah, that's right. Sure.
right? When you were when you were saying, "Get your boot off my neck, man," stuff like that. Did they call it snapping though? Were they like, "Now let's put your fingers up in the air and snap for," or did they have some, or to give props? What did they call it when you were young?
I don't know. I don't know. When I was young, that
You know
was
what?
post-beatnik, okay?
If you remember, you weren't there.
Yeah. Huh.
No, I know.
If you don't remember, you were there. And same thing. Moving on.
If you don't remember, you were there.
Then you were there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what they say about Woodstock.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
Have you been at any like super historical moments?
I was on the grassy knoll. No, I wasn't. That's horrible. Super historic moments. Or
even maybe not super historic, just, somewhat historic.
I was alive during, I remember watching the moon landing with my father in our apartment in Queens as he sat in an inflatable chair. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the future, 1969.
Yeah, right.
And so I remember that. I've seen presidents speak. I have a vague memory of Robert F. Kennedy's funeral. What a dark podcast this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ask people questions, and then they don't have like a solid answer, and then they just feel a little uneasy and bad about themselves. Let's talk about.
I have to go.
I know.
This isn't working out.
I know.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk about this inflatable chair.
Sure, let's talk about it.
Did it make a sound every time he got in and out of it?
It had to have. I mean, that's the physics of the inflatable chair, Alison. The plastic in those days was highly kinetic as opposed to the virtually soundless plastic that they have today. I'm wearing a plastic outfit.
And I didn't even hear you like
right.
I wasn't like it wasn't like,
Yeah.
Right.
And also I powder a lot.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And it also makes me think of that scene from Friends. Did you watch? No. How was your feeling about shows like that, given that you were on one for so many years? Did you watch the other ones?
The thing is that my knowledge was still based in the previous generation, which is to say I watched a lot of old TV and reruns and all that stuff.
Gunsmoke,
Bonanza,
MASH.
MASH I watched a lot of, and Mary Tyler Moore and all that stuff. And that's when I was really most absorbent and most involved in television, which I watched way too much of. But I rarely watched, even when I was doing Wings, other sitcoms. I mean, you couldn't not be aware of Friends. They were ubiquitous. They were everywhere. They were on every cover of every magazine. And I did watch it, and it was a great show. I mean, I watched it after the fact, too.
Did you watch Wings?
Silence. We'll cut those out.
Tighten this up.
I did watch Wings. I did. I watched it. I watched it a lot, and mostly for education, because I had to find out what the hell I was doing. And I have watched it recently, and in the earlier seasons, I was so broad and kind of I didn't, as an actor, I'm surprised I got hired, because I don't think I would have hired me. But as the seasons went on, I became more at ease and And I enjoyed watching it more. It was an interesting show because it was funny, but it was never sexy or on everybody's radar. But it was present. It was always there. It was the utility show. You know?
Now, the transformation you're talking about from broad to like more comfortable and perhaps more, would you say like layered or nuanced? Or
I wouldn't say layered, but I would just say relaxed. And where
I'm going to go with layered.
Okay, layered is fine.
Layered and relaxed.
And I didn't have to shout. My style, if I have a style, was always bigger and probably more suited for theater than TV.
Right.
It's something I'm still struggling with.
So I want to talk more about that, but
sure.
But just specifically that transformation, was that something conscious that you were doing, or did it just happen?
It pretty much happened. Pretty much happened. After a while, I just got used to where I was going, what I was doing, and I was used to the genre in a way.
Right.
And it was and coming, going to that job every day, lost its. In a good way, lost its kind of shocking appeal. Oh my God, I'm on TV! I can't believe it, and became something that I became more comfortable with and at ease.
But at the beginning, it was like, oh my
big.
God!
Yeah, it was. I was thrilled every moment, and you can see it if you watch those early episodes, which you can catch on your grandmother's old TV.
No, you can watch it on
like Paramount
Plus.
That's right.
Amazon.
Yeah.
YouTube.
The YouTube. It was interesting. It was interesting, that show, because it was because it's a real old school show, and it was part of that world that had must see TV all over the place, and we were on when Cheers was on. We were on when Frasier and Friends and Seinfeld were on, and that's sort of like a golden era. And
did you realize it at the time?
I didn't realize that it was the end or near end. I had no idea of the kind of technical revolution that was about to affect everything.
Yes,
but I was highly aware of the kind of the pedigree that Wings was part of, and we shot it on the Paramount Studios. At Paramount Studios, and Cheers, I say, was there, and we would visit with the people in that show and hang out, and there was a great kind of old-fashioned showbiz camaraderie, being on a soundstage and being on Paramount Studios and riding your bike and seeing stars, and they were shooting Star Trek: The Next Generation, so frequently there would be Klingons hanging outside smoking cigarettes, and they were scary Klingons.
But if I heard you correctly, eventually you got to a point where you were so jaded you just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, and the drink and the smoking and the money.
Right.
I didn't care. I literally phoned it in.
I would like to take a moment to say hello to Pete Bonavita.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
So
I don't have a Pete Bonavita drop.
I know. Do you want to play like just some other drop?
I have the Tony Thaxton drop, but that's, I'll play
What's
it.
that?
Tony Thaxton.
So what you don't know,
Sure.
Stephen Weber,
Help me.
is that my regular producer is Tony Thaxton.
Right.
Pete does my video normally.
I see.
And through no fault of mine, and it certainly wasn't because I put this on the wrong calendar, Tony was unavailable today. And we discovered this like a couple hours ago. And so Pete swooped in.
What is your last name, Pete?
Bonavita.
Pete Bonavita, Pete Bonavita, Bonavita, Pete Bonavita.
Nice.
That's it. That's your drop.
Now we
You're
have
welcome.
it.
We have a drop.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm excited.
I was about to say I didn't know you were a singer too, but I did because you've done Broadway.
Broadway.
Yeah. And now your training is in theater because you did a commercial when you were in third grade. Yes.
Yeah, I did commercials when I was a kid. I did a handful of commercials in the era of the 60-second commercial, which is no longer around.
I haven't even timed modern commercials. What are they?
I can't imagine that they're much longer than 15 seconds or 20 seconds or something like that, except if they're explaining the ingredients of an elderly person's heart medication or something.
Oh, right. Yes. But they speed those up so much. Yeah.
But I went to the High School of Performing Arts, which is legendary, the Fame School. I did that. and started seriously studying theater. And then I went to a place called SUNY Purchase. SUNY stands for State University of New York, and a fantastic theater school. So yeah, I was trained in that world.
What did you want to do?
Oddly enough, I didn't have any solid goals in mind, which was I was just kind of borne aloft on this current. I was just going in the direction of acting. I didn't know where it would land me. I did like all aspects of it. I liked, for instance, old television, and so I did a soap opera for a while, and so I
As the World Turns.
As the World Turns, and I like doing that. Are you going to get up and walk? Are you walking around and you're going to
Yeah, I just,
people on the street?
I felt like this got in the way of my connection with the audience.
Okay, interesting.
And so, if we are going to, there's a little gnat in here,
There is
too.
a gnat in here,
yeah. It makes me feel like I'm rotting fruit or something.
Because the gnat is circling your decaying flesh?
Exactly.
I
It
see.
makes me wonder, am I rotting from the inside out? But if I were...
We're all rotting. We're all rotting. From the outside in?
We're all dying.
No, we're dying.
But it makes me wonder, is there something about me that is attracting this gnat?
Well, is it a fruit fly? Maybe you're sweet.
Right, but fruit flies are only, that's sweet. But they're only attracted to fruit when it's like becoming vinegary, I think.
Do you want us to say it?
I smell.
You stink.
I just
the audience
showered.
doesn't know. It smells like garbage in here.
I know.
I just grabbed a gnat. I don't know if it was the only gnat. but
That's probably not.
I just killed one.
Thank
So
you. Well, score one for Pete.
Yeah, when's
Play
the
your
last time-
drop.
When's the last time Tony killed
Pete
something? in here?
Bonavita, Pete Bonavita, Nat Killer, Nat Killer,
Oh.
Pete Nat, Nat Pete, Bonavita.
That's what you'll be known as.
Don't let the
killer.
gnat eat you.
Question.
Bonavita. God,
Are gnats the same as fruit flies, or are these two separate annoying bugs?
you'll have to ask them. And I don't want. We're going to get into
can't.
trouble if we
Talk about bugs?
Well, no, they're just if we talk about gnats and fruit flies in the same category, maybe they want representation.
Yeah, you're right.
A gnat can't be a fruit fly and vice versa anymore.
Right.
Back in the day,
Yeah. Oh, my God.
gnats could do. Back in the day,
now-
fruit fly could act in gnat face.
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore.
I know. I actually saw my grandmother had little gnat face hummels. And I was like, you can't have these.
Alison,
You can't have these.
Holy smokes!
Sorry to admit that.
Gnat face hummels.
Anyway, the reason I moved this out of the way.
Gnat face hummels. Gnat face hummels.
Oh no, now we're going to get canceled for our drops.
That's right.
The reason I moved this out of the way is because this is going to be on YouTube, youtube.com/Alison Rosen,
Sure.
to see me put the microphone stand to the side. And I'm worried that it's blocking my face. And this is really,
It's everything. It is.
Thank you.
We are our faces.
Yes. Do you believe that really? Is he bothering you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Would you like me to ask him to leave?
He's the gnat of producers.
Yes, he is. You know what it is? He's high on his kill.
Is he?
A little bit.
On his kill.
It's right into my blood. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
his
what
he's
else-
like,
what else can
right.
I conquer now?
yeah. And so he might try to smush you.
Yeah. Let him try. No, obviously faces are very important for human beings. Without them, we wouldn't be able to.
Breathe out of our nose.
That's right. We wouldn't need ring lights. We wouldn't need makeup. Maybe it'd be
Right.
better if we didn't have faces.
Maybe.
If we were just if odors we identified by scents.
Apparently I would communicate far and wide.
Oh my God.
Well, the reason I ask.
Is there a reason you've asked
Yeah,
this?
there actually is a reason I asked about that. Well, not like
Because
it's
we
not like
are riffing.
it's not like I have been thinking about it, like, oh, I can't wait to ask Steven Weber if he really believes that we are our faces or
Sure.
something. That was not, on my list. But I recently got Botox for the first time.
Did you really?
I did, yes, a couple months ago. I don't know how much you know about being in LA. I would imagine you know a fair amount about Botox, but like it sets in 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
And then it lasts for like 3 months and it sort of peaks at a month. And like now it's thankfully like wearing off.
Where did you get Botox?
I got it, my forehead, my 11s, a little bit here and then
Yeah.
like a tiny bit here to fix my gummy smile because no one wants to see that.
Gummy smile.
Yeah, and that's gummy
God,
smile.
You're living in a
Botox.
bubble. This is a big problem for all of us. You look great. You look fine.
Maybe you're talking about the Botox.
I don't think so because I know people and I've seen people who've just done way too much.
Oh, I know.
It's really bad.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, though,
Sure.
I was like 2 days after or 3 days after when it was like barely there. I was like, oh my God, I get it. I love this. And I can see how you could go off the deep end because I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, the upper half of my face looks great. Oh no. How did I never realize before that like I have these, I started freaking out about my lower face and I'm very afraid to do too much and I'm afraid of filler and all that. But if I weren't, I could see where you become hyper focused on like one part of your face and then like body dysmorphia and all that stuff. So that was like 2 days after. And then when it really set in at 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I hate this. Like when I pose in photos with a guest, like my eyes are not, I look like sad or vacant or like there's no expression coming out of my eyes. And I've like ruined how I had a full on freak out and that's in the rear view. But anyway, I was talking to my husband whom you met earlier about this. And he was saying like the sum of you, and he wasn't talking about like who I am as a mom and a good person, or he was talking about like on the show, it's like, it's not just one body part. Like, it's not that like you're now, because I was like, my eyes don't crinkle when I smile anymore. And that was my thing. And now he's like, no, your thing is like your personality and your, all of that. So I guess that's why I'm saying like where do faces really fit in, on like communicating.
It's interesting to me because there's a lot of, for instance, if we can expand it into acting, for instance, there's a lot of people that act with their faces, but their bodies are utterly disconnected. And that is because they are seen from the neck up or from the sternum up. And whereas if you're doing theater, it sounds snobby, you have to engage your entire body in it. And I think that's a much more expressive and expansive and important way of, utilizing your tools to express yourself. But in this business that we're in, and it's not just our business or show business, it's everywhere, people are focused on the first impression made by their faces, which kind of enter every store and every situation. That's what you look at first. And I think people are out of control. I understand the need for it. I do crap to me all the time, crap to myself. I grow this beard to camouflage the loss of elasticity in my face. Don't like it. When I don't have a beard, I'll look in the mirror and say, oh, what's my mother doing here? Oh, that's me. She's a lovely woman at 86, but I'm not there yet. Fran, that's right.
Fran Nay Frankel. I read your book.
Nay. That's her middle name. Fran Nay Frankel, yeah. And it's very convenient. But look, we live in a society that, without putting them down, it's not my business, I don't know them, but the Kardashians, it's pointed out to me, and you can see it on social media, what they all looked like beforehand.
Yes,
and
quite different.
It's startling. Are they cool looking now? Yeah, they are. But I don't know. I don't know. I understand that everybody wants to look their best as they age, and I do whatever I can. But I think there's something odd about it, and that makes us miss the point of why we're here and what we need to be doing while we're here.
Which is what?
I don't know.
Yeah, surely you have some idea.
I mean, yes, it'll sound corny. I've evolved into a person now that values love and honesty and openness and patience and forgiveness and compassion and all those things that for some reason are not in the kind of common dialogue, it seems to me. And so that's what I am prizing above how we look. That said, I'm 62 years old and I work out and I try to stay, hygienic, and I patrol my face for all sorts of things and blemishes that I try to get rid of. I had acne as a kid, so that makes me super conscious. But at some point, what are we going to do? I got to give over. We have to give over to it. I mean, because a lot of the cosmetic surgery doesn't make a person look younger. It just makes them look weird.
Yes.
And also,
and smooth.
Smooth.
But
so
like,
smooth.
I don't think smooth and youth are always synonymous. I look at my kids and they have like lines under their,
right.
It's just the muscles moving.
It's hard to.
So I'm going to get them Botox.
Do baby Botox.
Yes.
And it's hard to remember what old people are supposed to look like. And I'm name dropping. I know Mel Brooks, and Mel Brooks looks like a really old man, and he is. He's in his 90s, and I don't think he's had any work done. And it's startling. It shouldn't be startling, but it is, because we are trying to kind of push away what aging is, what it looks like. Do you know what I mean?
I said to my therapist a couple years ago.
Sure, you don't need therapy.
No, I'm fixed now.
You have Botox.
That's right.
Yeah.
I went in and she said, "You look like everything's okay." And I said, "Yeah, it's because I said, I just feel like I look so old lately. And she's like, "Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Is it bad to look old?" And I said, "Yes." But I get her point. It's something I think about it. Like I think the goal for an enlightened person is to get to a point where it is not bad to look old. And like I mentioned TikTok earlier. Yeah. On TikTok, you see a lot of like people say things like aging is a privilege. I don't think they believe it, but it's a platitude. But it's true. The alternative is eternal youth. That would be a privilege.
I guess so. But I mean, we're all struggling. I keep saying we're all, like I'm speaking for everybody. I'm struggling with mortality. I'm struggling with getting older. I'm struggling with the people who I love transitioning out of my life, or my sons who are 20 and 22 getting older and saying, "So long, old man. I have to live my life now. Stop trying to live vicariously through us," et cetera, et cetera. And these are choices that I never reckoned with. Maybe I wasn't supposed to as a younger person, but it's hitting me now. So I have a lot of opinions and perspectives that are based on my own fears of, getting old, dying, all that stuff. We'll be right back. Pete, play your drop.
Pete, cut that. It got a little too real.
Play the drop, Pete.
I don't have my drop set up. I'll play the Tony Thaxton again.
Tony Thaxton.
Wow, I sound great.
Yeah. Do the Pete drop.
Bonavita? Pete Bonavita, Pete Bonavita, Vanabita, Pita.
Ooh.
Little remix.
Yes.
And then put in another, do multiple voice tracks on it.
Yes. So it's a chorus.
Like Queen.
Thank you. Like Queen, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Bonavita, Bonavita. That's right. Bonavita, let me go. Magnifico. I'm Pete Bonavita. I am a substitute. Hey, he's a substitute for Tony. See, my years of Second City have stood me in good stead.
Good.
Aren't I good?
Really, really good.
So good.
So tell me about eating out with,
Eric
in my
and Steve.
mind. Oh, it's not. I said Steven, but it's Steve, right? I was I feel like it's Steve.
I think it sounds better rhythmically to have eating out with Eric and Steve.
Okay.
Steven is just it's a little too.
It's gratuitous.
It's too much. Too much. People will lose interest by the time they get to that last syllable.
So, well, I say leave them wanting less.
Leave them wanting less.
That's my personal.
Leave them wanting less. Pete Bonavita. So Eric and I are old buddies, and we have gone to multiple dinners and make each other laugh. And we actually are part of a group of friends who we call the CADS, Character Actor Dining Society, because we're so clever.
Clever, yeah.
And a bunch of actors who have lasted and are humble and have been humbled, and but are successful and are friendly, because one of the things that is lacking out in LA, it seems, is a kind of a community of actors that is more apparent in places like New York, where the theater is. You're always walking down the street and you're seeing a buddy. So we made this little band of merry aging players. And so based on all the fun dinners and meals that we've had, we came up with this podcast. I think Sean Hayes, Tony winner Sean Hayes, came to Eric and and said asked him if he would want to do a podcast, and my name came up, and we came up with this. That's it.
And so the premise is you get together with two of your friends.
Two buddies, two people that we know, and we have a meal together. I mean, pre-COVID, we were hoping that we could actually meet at a restaurant or a studio at something and have a meal, but COVID thwarted that. So we do it via Zoom, and we
eat separate things. But that is similar to restaurants. It's not like everyone eats the same thing.
This is true, but we were hoping to get sponsorship down the line from some restaurant or something like that, or a series of restaurants that would, throw us some free meals.
Makes sense.
Let's face it. The best thing about being a professional actor is the craft service and the food.
Yeah.
I'm only half kidding. So we do this, and we realize that the hook of us eating is actually something that triggers a kind of comfortable feeling in the in the conversation, and it's replete with chewing and swallowing and the occasional obnoxious belch, and people seem to like it.
I was going to say, how have listeners reacted to that so far? Because if there's one thing I've learned, listeners do not love to hear chewing sounds. However, the exception being an eating podcast.
The misophonians out there, the misophonics don't like it. I know Sarah Silverman is famously misophonic. So she's not one of our listeners. How do they like it? I don't know how they like it, because we're basically just starting out.
Right.
And with this business, there aren't Nielsen ratings. I don't know what the numbers are. Who the hell knows? People are listening to it on many platforms.
I think it's probably like number one with a bullet.
I think so.
Now, you say that prior to the pandemic, you were hoping that it would be you guys going to a restaurant. So this has been in the works since pre-pandemic?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was in the works since pre-pandemic. Yeah.
Now I get it more.
You understand?
Was that frustrating?
Who?
Was it frustrating? Because the show just came out.
Yes,
so was
it was frustrating.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Pete, play the drop.
Tony Thaxton.
Surely, you know what? You are really filling in for Tony, and by that I mean playing just that drop.
Just the drop.
But do you have
That's
other
the one that we need. I mean, I have a couple more.
What kind of drops are you?
Tony, do you get paid by the drop?
With?
Do you get paid per drop?
Every time I hit it, Tony gets a little bit. So he paid me off.
Yeah.
To, kind of.
It's like a morphine drip.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Tony has like a library of drops.
I have some. Oh,
I'm
here's
curious what
an
ones.
appropriate one for this, right?
Okay, yeah.
Snack chat.
Yes.
There you go.
When we talk about snacks.
Far
snack
too
chat.
loud.
Oh, I thought that said Snapchat.
No.
Another platform I know nothing about.
Right.
Snapchat. Okay.
I was on it for a minute.
You
But
were?
Yeah, it's not fun.
Didn't they have Snapchat glasses? Didn't people have like Snapchat live video feed glasses or something?
Oh, I don't know
So,
about this.
little cameras on the side.
Little cameras on the side, yeah.
I
We're
didn't
all
even
going to
know.
die.
Yes.
We're all going to die.
We sure are.
AI.
I know.
What else shall we talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, God.
I mean,
don't
I
know.
have a lot of things. I just want to hear what you want to talk about.
It prompted me.
Okay. You don't want to sit here with this uncomfortable silence?
We can. Okay, so speaking of uncomfortable silence, so last night I tried something that I had originally done in the 80s before you guys were born.
No.
Which was called a...
I was alive. We both were.
Barely. You call that living?
No, I don't actually.
I did a sensory deprivation tank last night.
Please tell us everything, because my feeling about that is that I would lose my mind, not in a good way.
Well, when I first did it, and it was, I had seen the movie Altered States, which is like probably from 1981 or 82, where somebody did, I think probably William Hurt did acid, and they went into a sensory deprivation tank and saw all manner of hallucinations, and it was quite beautiful. And at that time, I was well adjusted enough to think, okay, I can deprive myself of all the senses and have some sort of inwardly beautiful adventure. Again, it was early on. I was young. I had not yet encountered horrors, which I'd be soon to encounter later on. And, not really, but, and it was cool. You can hear the blood rushing through your body, and it was very meditative. Smash cut to 30 years later, or whatever the hell it is. There's a place near where I live in Venice, California. And I thought, you know what? I've got nothing to do, and it's up the road. I'm going to book an hour session in a sensory deprivation tank. And I went there, and they were all very nice and appropriately
Soothing?
Soothing. Hi, welcome to, and it was actually called.
Wow, how do they spell that?
It's with an emoji, and also they blow confetti in your face.
Oh my God.
It's weird, a glitter.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of mixed media.
Right.
And I walked in, and thanks for that cursory chuckle.
That is you should
sweet.
It
was nice.
When I don't think something's funny.
Okay, it was
then
good.
I guffaw. I really did.
Growl. They showed me the facilities, which had several pods, which looked like kind of Botticelli clamshells and pink lighting and music, and it looked nice. I was brought to not one of those. I was brought to a sensory deprivation tank, which looked like the Merrimack, which was that old kind of. It was the first kind of, not ironclad, but it was the first kind of not really a submarine during the Civil War. There's a famous battle between the Monitor and the Merrimack. And the Monitor, which was the Union submersible.
Were you alive for that?
1 second. I'm talking. And the Monitor was kind of a cigar-shaped thing that looked mostly like a submarine. But the Merrimack, which was the Confederate submersible, looked like a kind of a trapezoidal meat locker. And that's the one that I went into last night. It had a hatch that you pull open, and I guess maybe a foot of highly salinated water. There was a control on the inner wall for music, one for lights, and I was to disrobe, rinse off in the adjacent shower, and then put myself in this sensory deprivation tank. We'll call it a SDT.
Okay.
Where you can probably get SDTs. Good night. And I did this without really any kind of hesitation. I thought, okay, I'll do this. I disrobed. I showered. And I stepped into this thing and began floating immediately, and turned off the light and turned off the music, closed the door, closed the hatch. And I was sensorially deprived.
And?
I had booked an hour. I lasted 35 minutes.
That's pretty good.
But I realized that it wasn't comforting or relaxing. And I was going to try to kind of power through. And I thought, I don't need to power through anymore.
Right.
I've powered through to age 62. I'm not going to power through any longer.
Sounds like you had an epiphany.
I did, and it became infected in the water.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was
I
terrible.
would think all that salt would be good for an epiphany.
Not this type of salt. And only today I was wondering if they changed the water between customers. Maybe they felt that they don't have to because it's so salty that nothing could possibly live. And also I realized that I wasn't the lithe young man that I was in the 80s, where I probably floated like a surfboard. Now I was just kind of, I'm top heavy with the years of working out and angry. And so it wasn't that good. It was, in fact, as I'm telling you now, I have to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble breathing.
Turns out you hated it.
It was, I don't want to be sensorially deprived.
I have a lot of questions.
Go.
First of all, why did they give you the Merrimack and not one of these like Botticelli?
I don't know.
And I'm surprised the description of the like Botticelli stuff surprised me, because when I hear the word pod, I think cold, futuristic, not warm, and like an impressionist painting.
This was Renaissance painting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I felt it felt
got
wrong
you.
coming out of my mouth.
That's all right.
Sometimes I reach to try to sound smarter, and it never
we can cut
goes
this
well.
out. We'll cut it all out.
Thank you very much.
Drop.
Don't you dare play the Tony Thaxton.
Okay, never mind.
Oh.
No. We have 1,100 other drops. Please just choose anything. It doesn't even have to go with
It's
anything.
too late.
It doesn't
It's
have to go
past.
with anything?
No.
Okay, how
It's
about
past.
ducklings?
Alison wants your iTunes comments. Alison wants them, yes she does.
It's called Ducklings because it used to be Alison wants. Allison loves her happy ducklings. That's that's really old.
It was the first one that I'm not terribly familiar with how all of these sound, so I'm reaching, I'm grasping.
I feel like that's going to be the soundtrack to when you go on a killing spree.
Probably.
Yeah, there's a gnat. You're being
I didn't get it.
natted.
No, this is its friend coming for revenge.
Oh, okay.
It's out of control, the level of gnats. And by that I mean like just a couple is too many.
Yeah, it's too many.
But it's been going on for a little while.
What's that about?
Not surrounding me, but like there's
You
a
have to
couple
shout.
gnats.
Why are you shouting? All right, relax.
It's my first season. I'm broad.
Let's turn off the lights and turn off the sound, and we'll have a sensory deprivation podcast.
float.
Okay, so I don't understand. Did they recognize you? First of all,
I don't think so. They were younger.
I don't understand why they gave you the less favorable one.
Merrimack,
A. Yeah. B, I'm surprised there's lights and music because those are senses. But the point is that you yourself control.
Yeah, you can
off.
adjust it. Yeah, but I went the full Monty.
Did you truly feel like nothing touching you?
Yes, it's strange, and as I say, you're floating. You're not feeling anything, but it wasn't like floating in space. It wasn't a beautiful sensation. I was acutely aware that I was in a structure that was probably filling up with carbon dioxide and
sounds a little panicky.
It was I'm not one to panic, but I just didn't feel comfortable there.
And did your mind go to interesting or surprising places? Like, do you meditate? You live in Venice.
Yeah, I know. No, there's always a contact high down there. I don't meditate. I have, but I didn't.
So you know how and I don't regularly either, but I'm sure it would benefit me greatly. But they say that
do something.
I need to do something, right?
Yeah, drink.
Just to get there.
Do something.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Am I revving too high?
Take a breath. I'm going to lead you through a relaxation now.
Oh, no.
Ready?
Can I tell you?
Sure.
On one of my other podcasts.
I keep saying sure, like I know.
On one of my other podcasts, my co-host, I don't even remember why we did this. He led me through a guided meditation. And then he changed the subject and he left me in a cave, like with a bear on. There's a bear, there's a hammock. He deserted me in the middle of a guided meditation, which I feel like is the number one thing you don't do.
That's a lawsuit.
Are you still there in the hammock with the bear?
I am. And I'm going to sue him in the meditation. I got to find a way, like, to inception it out of that into the real world.
That's right. Do it.
That's right.
You can do it.
Does anyone have like something to spin? I forget why you do that, but
because isn't that the indication that you're in the real world?
Yeah.
Spin the gnat. Let's play spin the gnat.
Ooh, spin the gnat.
Ooh, I love playing spin the gnat.
It's a rite of passage for the gnat and for us. Okay. Yeah, like in meditation, they say that like your brain kind of like spins out before it mellows out because you're not used to that level of quiet.
I didn't want to give it that. I couldn't wait that long. I would have suffocated.
Were your thoughts racing or?
I was too conscious of why I was there and what I wanted to achieve rather than letting anything happen. And plus I started to think about the water.
Yeah.
What is this? Who's in here before me?
What did you want to achieve?
That kind of relaxation.
Yeah.
That because the one thing that I crave most and have the least is sleep. Since all my wild days are behind me, I'm always craving. Just give me 6.5 hours, please. I don't know who I'm begging.
The Sandman.
Yes, Sandman, the Gnat Man. I wonder if the Gnat Man and the Sandman are friends.
I hope so.
And they probably conspire to ruin everything.
Mm-hmm. They sit there with the gnat has his tiny little gnat appendages going.
That's right. There's a funny New York cartoon where a guy's in bed wearing a nightcap, and the Sandman is floating, but he's carrying a mallet, and he said, "I ran out of sand."
That's funny. So you have trouble sleeping, is what you're saying?
I used to, and I used to take Ambien. I used to take all this stuff, and I stopped. But occasionally now I'll take some sort of tryptophan chewy or something like that.
They have those?
They do have those, yeah. You know who has those?
Whole Foods.
Goop.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you buy your tryptophan chewies from Goop?
No, my ex gave me a box of these Goop things called Knock Me Out.
Oh.
And they're really good.
They are?
Yeah.
Good for Gwyneth.
Good for her.
Good for
and
Gwynnie.
her vaginal egg.
Yes.
Good.
Her yoni egg.
Oh, yoni egg.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about your personal life?
Sure.
Okay, so you're not married now, right?
No.
And you divorced your second wife, but then did you get back together with her?
We are very close. We have what to the outside world looks unique and admirable, and we're extremely close. I feel like we both have a real emotional investment in each other. And while circumstances forced us to, take action and split up, we basically haven't gone a day without seeing each other. We go away together. It sounds romantic and everything, but I guess the point that I'm laboring to make is that things are what you make them. And marriage and divorce and parenthood are all kind of concepts that aren't fully understood, in my opinion. When people get married, I don't think they understand the work it takes. It doesn't just happen. And I don't mean the work of just tolerating somebody. It actually, I feel like if you wanted to do it right, and I've been married twice, if you wanted to do it correctly, you have to research it, understand what it entails emotionally and also practically, and also know that people change. Your skin cells change. You slough off skin and they, and that's a joke, but you change emotionally, you change mentally. And if you're going to be with somebody, you have to be able to look at them and take the journey together and check in and be honest. And so many things conspire to get in the way of those things. Just our daily, just talking about skin and talking about Botox or show business
that
or money
important.
It is important.
I'm just kidding.
Well, but don't just kid. No, I'm not laughing. Pete, no, don't play a drum.
See, he wouldn't even know how.
No.
Oh.
But so
Just kidding, Pete. You
Just
would.
kidding.
I know you
I was
would.
looking for the perfect one. That's the thing.
There's too many.
do you have somebody falling down a flight of stairs?
No, I've got a fart sound, I think. How's that?
Now
Perfect.
press it. That was good. No, so look, we didn't stay together for the children who probably do not care one whit. They just want us to be happy. However we can, craft that. But, I'm not interested in going out and sowing oats and doing all those things. I feel like we have an emotional investment. And so we're carrying it through and we'll see what the hell happens.
That's really sweet. And I get what you're saying about these things being, you said concepts or constructs or things
Marriage.
like that.
And people get married. Like I keep thinking, don't get married until you're 45. Don't have a kid until you're 40. And practically that's not possible. But they're bigger concepts than people understand them to be. And so much growth happens that is not spoken of.
Right.
We're all in this moment and trying to be funny or trying to divide people or trying to we act and react so much that we're not thinking about what's coming ahead, what's coming up. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Was there
We're
a
not
time?
pondering anymore. We're not thinking things through.
Did you guys go straight from being married to being divorced and being close? Like, was there a period where it was rough?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, very rough. And we all stayed very close, my kids included. I mean, we struggled throughout, in front of each other. And I hope that was valuable. I hope it wasn't too scarring, especially to my two young men. I feel like they, at least in witnessing it, were less scarred and more informed about what people who are 30, 40 years older than them go through. And maybe that will clue them into what they need to do or how they can adjust and think about their lives as they grow and develop and age and are faced with things that are immutable, like mortality. And, recently, again, not to be too heavy, I mean, so many people have died that I know recently. And I guess that's supposed to happen at this age. I didn't reckon on it happening until much later, but it's happening now. And so life is happening. So I feel like it's important to give it consideration and make the effort to try to understand it and try to understand people and how, this sounds corny too, how we're all walking each other home and we're all witnesses to each other. And
wait, what does that mean? We're all walking each other home?
We're all headed to the same place.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all we're all going to take the same boat or whatever image you want.
Right.
And to do so with care and with concern, and again, forgiveness, and oh God, because things are so imperfect.
Mm-hmm. You wrote a lot for the Huffington Post.
Oh yeah, a lot of crap, a lot of histrionic crap. I was just complaining that people are so reactive. Well, I am reactive. I mean, I'm on Instagram, and I react to people, and I go right into that orgy of idiocy, and have to really stop doing that, because I don't think it accomplishes very much. It just feeds this bigger beast of consumerism, and that's what I think it is in the end. I think we're shouting into a void. It's
on social media,
yeah,
or
on social media,
on this earth.
On social media, no, on the earth. I'm saying this social media facilitates people shouting into the void on the earth. But I did a lot of writing and thought I was being really cute. But at the end of the day, I realized that I didn't know enough about the subjects I was writing about. I was just having a knee-jerk response and thinking I was witty or clever. I had a thesaurus right by my side and was using it liberally, and people were busting me on it. But I thought I had a platform. I thought this would lead to something, and I just realized that it was just garbage. But I do write, and I do try to write to the things that I'm talking about now.
What kind of things do you write?
One of the things I recently just wrote a script.
Hey, congrats.
Thanks. And which I've done in the past, but I stopped doing for the longest time. This has to do with a project that I was actually developing with Bryan Cranston for some time, and we were doing something, and we pitched it all around, and that was a few years ago, and we recently saw each other, and he said, you should pick it up again, see what you can do. And so I've rewritten it on this particular subject. What do I write? You know what I did? There's a really cool app called Storyworth.
Yes, they're a sponsor on my show.
Are they really?
They're amazing. Yeah.
Okay,
they really are.
So
not this particular episode, but in general, yes.
I don't know how I found them. I don't know who talked about it to me, but I picked it up, and I ended up writing hundreds of pages, and it's something that I'm going to give to my kids. And basically, what it is just a handbook. It's a handbook of my observations, basically, and all my personal experiences, both good and bad, and it's just for their eyes, because the thing that I lacked growing up was an understanding of what made me, where my family came from. I don't know very much about my father's childhood or about my grandparents. I know less about my father than I do about my mom, who's still alive and great and loving and fun and all that stuff. So I just wanted to give them something that they could refer to if they ever wondered about themselves. So that's what I've been writing.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a game. What kind of games do you play normally?
Lawn darts.
Safe.
I do something called flailing, which I don't feel like describing right now.
Okay. No, and I think it paints a picture. Yeah. Okay. So, you have been in so many things. I mean, what a prolific career. Starting when commercials were 60 seconds long. So I'm wondering how much you remember the names of each character you played. So there's two ways we could do this.
Sure.
Either I could say
Keep saying sure. Oh, okay.
I like it.
Okay.
It makes me feel assured.
It's very positive.
Yeah, it's good. Either I could say the character and you have to say the name of the project, or I could say, we're not going to do all of them. We'd be here for hours. Or I could say the project and you say the character. Which more appeals to you?
Project, and I'll say the character.
Okay. Okay. And we'll start, sort of easy.
Okay.
I don't know if this is easy, actually. Okay.
Shoot.
Single white female.
Oh God. Match game. What's his name? I can't remember.
Sam.
Sam.
Rosen.
Sam Rawson.
Yes. Okay.
Sam Rawson. Okay.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, this is going great.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Nussbaum.
Mark Nussbaum. Mm-hmm. Oh, so I have played a Jew. Yay! Because I was convinced that I never had.
Do you usually get cast as Gentiles?
Always.
I wonder why.
Well, I didn't have, I guess, standard Jewy features. I can say that because I am Jewish. But,
Right.
But now I could probably be cast as a rabbi, a well-built rabbi.
Who do people tell you look like nowadays?
I used to, once somebody shouted to me in the subway, "Hey, Robo!" And they thought I was Peter Weller. This is when I was younger. Now I think I look like a phase that George Carlin. I feel like when my hair was longer, I used to.
Interesting.
Yeah, I should do like a series of his faces, and I look like George Carlin.
I see. I think you look a little like Jon Stewart.
Ah, that's funny. I get mistaken for him all the time.
Yeah.
And we were good friends. I haven't seen him in ages. I don't know what's happened to him. Hope he's okay. But yeah, I get, and somebody says, "Are you Jon Stewart?" And I say, "No, I'm taller." I say, we laugh.
As the World Turns.
Oh, yes. Okay. I played, wait, oh God. I do know this. And I was a Yale graduate with a bad temper and had an earring.
Opposite Julianne Moore, right?
I know this. What's the first letter?
K.
K?
K.
K?
K.
Well, it's not Ken.
No. Remember
Or Kyle.
on the Wonder Years, there was a character named... Okay. I'm trying to think of other famous people. Oh, Costner. Oh, well, that just gave it away.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin. Yeah.
Kevin Gibson.
Kevin Gibson.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, certainly you're going to know this one. Wings.
Brian Hackett.
Yes. Okay. But then there's another Brian Hackett on Duckman.
Huh? Oh, okay. So Duckman was an animated series that Jason Alexander did the voice on, and I think my character's name was, that's right, Brian Hackett.
All right. Do you remember who you played on The Simpsons?
I don't remember the name, but it was me, and he just won the Oscar for The Whale. Brendan
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
Oh.
And we played executives in a company that made this thing called Power Sauce, which was like a power bar, a nutrition bar. And Homer was going to climb this mountain using only power bars as nutrition. But it turns out that the power bars were not made of anything good, but that they were made from apple cores and old Chinese newspapers, which always stuck with me.
That's hilarious.
That was very
Okay. Do you remember who you played on Will and Grace?
I played Eric's brother, but I couldn't remember the name.
Sam Truman.
Yeah, that's him, Sam Truman.
What about Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip?
Jack, something.
Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph, Jack Rudolph.
Monk.
I played that Howard Stern type guy. I can't remember his name either.
Max Hudson. You know what? It's because it's not about the name. It's about the personification of the character.
If you wish.
Midnight.
Do you wish it?
I would
The
love
thing
that.
is that, look, the thing about a lot of these shows and the dialogue and the names and everything, it's like they come into my head and then they leave to be replaced by something else. I don't have a lot of good retention, but I can, mostly memorize my lines. Mostly.
Who did you play on? And now this is, end of game.
Yeah.
You did
Sorry.
poorly.
That was terrible.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Now that I think about it, why would you remember all these names?
But here's the thing. I learned so much from my defeats.
Yes. Yes. You know what? They say challenges come into your life for a reason.
Sure.
And this came into your life for a reason.
Yeah, the universe doesn't give you more than you can handle.
No. That's such bullshit.
Calm down.
Sorry, I got...
Even through the Botox, I can, it's weird. It's like laughing like this. Yeah, not good.
Do you believe the
Quants?
universe doesn't give you more than you can handle?
I have come to believe that the universe does give you just what you need to handle, even if it's really hard. I've had to use those things, those concepts and aphorisms, all those things.
Okay. Who did you play on Law & Order SVU?
Oh,
Because I'm sure I saw you on that.
Yeah, I played. I did a couple of episodes where I actually I played a lawyer. I played a lawyer, and I actually prosecuted, I want to say Elizabeth McGovern. She was
From
somebody-
Bewitched?
No, that's Elizabeth
Montgomery?
Montgomery.
Oh.
Elizabeth McGovern is this great actress who was in Downton Abbey.
Oh.
Right.
Who'd she play?
She
Down
played the
there?
American wife.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. I played a lawyer. I don't know. It was ages ago.
All right.
Bong gong. Right.
I mean, it is my favorite of the Dick Wolf franchises.
It is, classic.
Not as into Criminal Intent, which I know you also were on.
I was?
According to your Wikipedia. Let's see.
I don't think so. Criminal
you were.
Intent?
I thought you were on Law and Order Criminal Intent
No.
somewhere in here.
Just
Will you look it up, Pete?
SVU, I think.
I could have sworn I saw Criminal Intent.
Criminal Intent. Criminals Intense.
Oh,
which would be
yes.
great. When
About
people
camping. Yes.
Yeah.
We're just going to sit here while he rustles papers.
Oh, that's good. It's a good sound effect. He's not really rustling papers.
Yeah. No,
He's a
it's
Foley
all-
artist.
Theater of the mind.
Yes.
I see Crime Story.
That's
Crime
close,
Story.
Close enough.
Crime Story with
see.
Dennis Farina. That was good. Played
That's probably what I was thinking
a
of.
pornographer. It was good.
Star Trek. Will and Grace.
Star Trek. Yes. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I played the race of beings that have that kind of ridge on their nose, which I guess is for grating nutmeg.
Here we go. Law and Order Criminal Intent.
Oh.
In 2011.
Who'd he play?
Ben Langston.
No, it is Wikipedia, so it could be a
I
mistake,
have
but I
no memory of that.
feel like it's
episode-
probably true.
Episode was called Cadaver. Maybe you
Imagine
would
if
keep
that's the
keeping
thing
with
that
the
made him
show's
go,
theme.
oh, yes,
That's right.
exactly.
Cadaver.
Um,
That's MacGyver.
what do you think happens when we die?
Okay. So I think if we take our cues from nature, if you look at smoke curling in the air or dust or a candle that's blown out, I feel like the energy that comprises our consciousness is somehow dissipated into the ether and either dissipates completely or sometimes clumps together, which might, and it might come into some other housing, another body, which might account for reincarnation, a kind of a memory, because maybe there's an assemblage of
Consciousness soot.
consciousness, like little sparkles. But I think basically if we look at nature, we just get fed back into the whole cycle and come back as something else. But I don't think it's necessarily, humanoid, let's say, because there's probably all sorts of levels and phases and things that we can't perceive with this apparatus.
Right.
But I don't believe in a kind of a heaven and hell and all that stuff. It's ego.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it's almost semantics, I guess. For the longest time, I would have said I believe in nothing. Like I don't believe there's anything that I think it's it. When I was 21, one of my close friends committed suicide, and it just floored me for, I think, a couple of years even of just like, I was just too, not that there's a right age to handle something like that, but like at that point I was so young and fresh, and I mean, I feel like I was a young 21 anyway. It just devastated me. And I remember I did a lot of my thinking when in the car, and I was driving. It was kind of like a hour-long car ride, let's say. And I just started thinking, we can't explain consciousness. Like, we don't understand exactly what consciousness is. It's kind of a miracle. So how do I know that goes away when you die, even though that is what I believe? But maybe there are things about this that we don't understand that are beyond us. So I would say that was kind of the beginning of maybe some belief in like some kind of amorphous spirituality. I grew up atheist. So yeah, I mean, I think I believe pretty much what you believe as well. I don't know how much I believe in like actual reincarnation. But yeah, like we are made of energy that existed before us and that energy persists after us, I don't think I will have, I mean, I would love if I'm wrong. I don't think I'll have a moment of being like, I'm Alison and my body died, but I'm still here somehow, you know?
Yeah. I think it's a mistake to ascribe things that are familiar to us to something that's utterly unknown.
Right.
You know, I can't see off the end of my bed. So I don't think that there's a paradise on that other side, you know, with all my friends.
Yeah.
No, I think using what I've observed and whatever rudimentary kind of, you know, equations I've solved, there's more bed there. That's, you know, and I'm not there, but it's obviously confusing and mystifying, but I lost the desire to what's the word, anthropomorphize the unknown and put my own face on it. And yet there are things that are odd and that may not necessarily be coincidence, but I just think human beings generally are stupid. And that's it. You know, it's so dumb sounding, but I don't know. Okay, so I have a dog, and I was never a dog person growing up. We never had a dog, but I have this great dog. Her name is Cat the dog, and this being, it has a personality, and she loves, and she has expectations, but she's very much in the moment. She doesn't hoard resentment. I'm sure animals obviously remember pain, you know, but she's all about pleasing and being pleased and eating and surviving and existing in a kind of a pleasant way. And that should be what life is,
Yes.
it seems to me. And also I'm sick of people saying that human beings are the apex of evolution. I think that a human being is so weak. You know, I look at a hydrodynamic animal like a seal or a dolphin, and to me that suggests a more perfected, evolved creature. They don't need anything. You know, they outside of food, they communicate, they have relationships, they have, right? And
yeah, they're social.
But if you drop a human being into any environment, they're going to die unless they exploit their environment. And it's gotten to the point where I think the earth, to borrow the concept from George Carlin, is just going to shrug off human beings like a bad case of fleas, because we've proven that, you know, we're not good for the, you know, the kind of the macro. We're not good for this world, this organism Earth. It's like enough with this gnat.
Yeah.
You know, human beings are gnats.
I do think about that sometimes. I think, like, you know, many, many years in the future, when whatever comes after humans are here, they'll be like, when they talk about humans, it's like, oh, they were close to getting it, but they just didn't.
They screwed up.
Hi. We actually checked the cameras.
This is the Halloween
Haunted
episode?
house.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
We're good. Thank you. Okay. We have some.
Maybe you should WD-40 that.
Probably.
You know, because you're doing a show. Okay.
I know, but then people can
Basics.
sneak in.
Yeah, okay.
children.
Whatever you want.
No, I think you're right.
It's your show. Do what you want.
My God, you're already tired of me. We only just
I'm not
met.
tired of you. I'm just tired of life.
Of women.
No. I'm not tired of women. They're tired of me. Good night.
Okay, so I have some questions that listeners sent in on Patreon. Ooh,
Wow.
nice. Yeah.
Right on that.
I
I'm
know.
getting the hang of it. I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah, and I feel like I was mean to you earlier.
It's okay.
I made some jokes at your expense, and they're not coming from anywhere genuine.
I knew coming
You're
into
delightful.
this, you know, I'm no Tony Thaxton, so I'm no.
Tony Thaxton.
That's right.
You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
you.
So I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen, all sorts of bonus stuff, rewards. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. There's episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon bonus podcast. And if you go for an annual subscription, you get 2 months free. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. And people can send in questions. Okay. Oh, we have a song.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
Okay. Okay, superfan Giovanni says, what was it like filming the scene on Wings where the entire cast is outside of Roy's bedroom listening to his, quote, nightly ritual, one of the funniest scenes in the history of televised situation comedies on one of the top 5 sitcoms of all time? Oh, you don't remember, do you?
I mean, I remember a sequence where, oh God, Joe, Brian, Lowell, and Roy go on a golf trip, and they end up being in their room together because the weather was bad. And in the bathroom, Roy is doing his ablutions, but there's some machine that doesn't sound like an electric toothbrush. It sounds like a cross between kind of like a snorkel and a vibrator. And it was funny. And in fact, we had to kind of tone it down for air because the sound they were using was hilarious, but it was just too wet sounding. and people, they didn't want the audience to even begin to imagine what Roy was doing. What was it like, Giovanni? Is that Giovanni?
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Good. I feel like that's good. Okay, Seth Eisenberg wants to know.
Seth.
Any reflection on the movie Jeffrey and the reception at the time? How do you think it holds up in the current culture wars? I'm going to need some background on that.
That's interesting. Okay, so in 1995, I did a movie called Jeffrey, which was based on a play by Paul Rudnick, which was the first, let's say, AIDS comedy. And for its time, and I think for today, it was very funny, super sweet, and definitely groundbreaking. Again in 1995. And I'm not gay. I'm gay adjacent. I'm an ally, obviously, but I was cast as Jeffrey, and the movie is actually fairly. I think graphic is a misleading word, but it's very adult. And they talk about sex in a very kind of adult, plain, and often plain spoken and very funny way. It was a great time. It was fun. It was McGay summer, and Patrick Stewart was in it. Brian Batt, Michael T. Weiss, Olympia Dukakis, Sigourney Weaver, Kathy Najimy. We had tons of actors. Greg Jabara and it was wonderful to do. It was enlightening. It was fun. I don't think I could do it today. And yet, the question remains, like, there are gay actors who can play straight, and there are straight actors who, I guess, could play gay. It's touchy. I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be explored, because there's so many actors who never had the opportunity to play roles which they were well suited, but now they are. So it's a good thing.
I would imagine. Did you make out with?
Oh yeah, it was endless making out, and there were a few sex positions that I thought, oh, that happens. Okay, great. Yeah, I had no idea. I was a very provincial young man.
Yeah.
Making out. I didn't make out with Patrick Stewart is probably what you're going to ask, but we did peck on the cheek. But he was hilarious. I don't know if it holds up. It looks kind of like an old Love American style episode now.
No, I was wondering what it was like making out with men.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think like, oh, for an actor of your stature, is making like, because there's plenty of women you've had to make out with that you don't have feelings for.
Mm-hmm.
Is making out with a man like a whole different thing, or since you are straight, or is it just like is it just like making out with anyone that you don't have feelings for and you're acting? I mean,
I'm acting, and it called for a kiss or making out and love making. The only thing that was shocking was how awful a beard is on your face. And after kissing Michael T. Weiss for a few hours over the course of the shoot, I was shocked at how he tore my young face up, and I kind of understood. I understood where women mostly are in that regard. I like to think of myself as fairly fearless as an actor. Not that this should engender terror or fear, but look, talking plainly, it was different from the life experience that I had, but I threw myself into it and was worth it and was fun and interesting. And yeah, it was an interesting exercise. I mean, acting is in a strange place now, because the definition of an actor is someone who can change who they are in order to, articulate and express a role, a character rather. And the training I had was to, adopt different characteristics to play different kind of roles that are different from myself. And I see now that a lot of that had to do with the very narrow representation that a lot of people were victims of or victims to. And you look at a lot of the actors of color today who, were relegated to playing the most menial kind of roles. And when really inside that role of, I don't know, whether it's a housekeeper or somebody that's, whatever,
right,
are amazing, amazing artists that we need to see, we need to experience. So, I think it's incredibly important. At the same time, I don't want to lose the definition of what an actor is.
Right.
That's a special kind of artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's hard to
complicated.
define. It is complicated.
Yeah. Tammy H., how sexy was Tim Daly in person?
I can't think of him now without ejaculating.
Oh, wish I hadn't asked the question. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Ames, how did you meet Eric McCormack?
We met when I was Will and Grace had been on, I think, for about a year, and then I had a show of my own post Wings. It was called Cursed originally, and then it was changed to the WEBER show. It's a time in my life that I really don't speak of, nor do I like to speak of. Not that it was traumatic or anything, but it was a mess. I wish I had been smarter about a lot of aspects of that show. But anyway, so back in the days when NBC had was still a huge network, I mean, it still is, but old-fashioned TV, right. We met at, I think we met at a big event where they had all the shows and all the actors on display, which was so much fun, my God. And so that's where we met. Yeah.
Like Battle of the Network Stars? Something
like that, they would announce the season at Radio City Music Hall, and it was psychotic. It was great.
Yeah.
Battle of the Network Stars. Now it would be really Battle of the Network Gnats.
I know. Jeez.
Network Stars?
Yeah.
I know. I thought it. I thought it too.
Sorry.
You know what? You don't see this because it's behind you. There's a pile of used diapers behind you.
Yeah, that's what we use.
Daniel!
Diaper. Yeah. That's the sound of that's the door opening. Yeah. Well, you said you don't like to talk about it, so now I'm going to ask you a question and make you talk about it. You don't have to. You said you wish you had been smarter about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like what?
I wish I'd had more formed goals for myself as an actor and also as a person, as a man, you might say. I floated and skated and all those other kind of passive acts through a lot of my life, and was just lucky enough to find myself in a profession that I enjoyed, meeting people that I liked, and I guess have a degree of proficiency. I wish I'd taken myself more seriously as an artist, and had done deeper dives creatively, artistically. I have no complaints about where I am in my life and in my business, but I think I could have had different opportunities and could have gone deeper, and as an actor, I think, as a creative person. For one thing. Because quite often I didn't think things through enough. I didn't take them seriously enough.
Like roles that you were offered, things like that?
Yeah, roles and even contracts and even opportunities, and I didn't chart a course. this is corny sounding too, but I realized that I have to have my hand on the tiller of the boat that I'm in because I'm messing things up here. All the currents that came my way, I just kind of floated. I just kind of, wherever they took me, I went. And there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, it is how dogs are.
How dogs are. But on the other hand, they don't need to buy clothes and they don't worry about their looks. And, they have no ego, put it that way.
Yeah.
And my stupid ego was mostly looking for affirmation, easy affirmation.
I relate to that.
And, trying to be funny or trying to be cutesy and all that stuff when really I wish I had just studied harder. And I wish I'd had a goal in mind. I want to be this type of actor. I want to have this in my hand. I want to have this as a goal. And I didn't. I just kind of enjoyed it. And it backfired on me because after many years working, I began to work less. And, and oddly, it sort of coincided with my marriage dissolving. They were mutually dependent. Yeah. Yeah. And because I had lost my way, I had not prepped myself. I'd run out of, the currents had not stopped coming my way, to use that tortured analogy. And then I had to kind of regroup and figure out something. And so now I have goals and I do kind of try to visualize that stuff. And it's been much better, I got to say.
Do you mean like you didn't have a plan for if things stopped coming your way?
I just didn't have a plan. I just assumed, this is it. This is where I am now. This is what's going to happen. Okay, great. I didn't factor in aging. I didn't factor in changing trends. I didn't look at history. I just thought, I found my way in this place. Perfect. Easy. Wow, I'm having an easy time. I'm doing comedy. Easy, great. No. I didn't think through it.
If you had, I know this is asking you to imagine something that didn't happen. Do you imagine you would have been taking different roles? Would you have been doing more theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking different roles.
Less comedy?
Not necessarily. But, I see actors who I admire and I think, I would love to be able to work with them, but I don't know if I ever will be because I've taken a different path. It's possible. Anything is possible, and in fact, I still hope that I can continue and deepen and do interesting things, but it's hard. Yes, there's lots of competition.
Do you feel like you're typecast as TV guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy from Wings?
Yeah, which is so odd because it's 20 plus years old already. And I've done plenty of things since, but I still have that, I don't want to say taint because it's not a bad thing at all, but I still have that, that impression. People, and, which is why I like to audition, and I like to audition in real life. And that's becoming rare too because of COVID and technology. I'm on a list. And so they see me as TV guy, but I really think now I'm a much better actor than I was in Wings. But I have to now find those opportunities.
Right. Yeah. When you say audition in person, you mean like as opposed to self-tape?
Right.
Like going in?
Yeah. Self-taping is something that is alien to me. And I think Rob's, both the casting person and the director and the producers and the writers and the actors of a crucial element, which is the chemical exchange that happens in a room. I mean, look, we could do this, what we're doing now, the three of us, online on Zoom, and that's fine. That works. I mean, Zoom and FaceTime was incredibly important, especially during COVID. My God, people would have really lost touch, even more than they already have. But we're doing it in this room, and it's actually
so much better.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good. I can see the gnat that she's swatting. I could smell the garbage that it's attracted to. I could smell
That's me.
Yeah, your the axe that Pete's wearing, and and I've been farting the last 20 minutes, and it's wonderful. There you go, Alison.
Excuse me,
you pig.
Do you think farts are funny? Because I do.
Okay, so yes. And why do babies think farts are funny?
Because they're the original joke. They're the funniest.
But so what does that mean? That deep in our DNA, that sound is it's right. It's essential.
Yeah.
To our being.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is funny supposed to be? What is laughter? What is humor? Why is a fart funny to somebody that's? Why should that make a baby laugh?
Right. Right. Yes, these are good questions.
They are good questions.
These are wonderful questions. I mean,
I wish Carl Sagan were here.
Yes. Yes.
Farts are funny. That's my Sagan.
I'm trying to think why. I mean, is it a tiny? I want to say it has something to do with like the embarrassment. Except I don't think a baby experiences embarrassment. So
I think it might be the frequency, the kind of the whatever sonic frequency.
Yeah. The rhythm of a fart.
Yeah, and there's something. I've heard people say that the key to life is the kind of frequencies, sounds, and light, and everything. That is an important component that people aren't really paying attention to.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for validating me. I'm talking such shit.
No, it's all good.
All right.
Do you happen to have a just me or everyone?
I mean, mine are ridiculous.
Oh, good. Okay, well, so we have a song.
Okay.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right.
Yeah. Is it just me or is that song stupid? I'm kidding. It's nice. It's good. Oh my God. I'm being that guy.
Wow.
I'm being the jaunty.
Yeah, no, I know. What a rapscallion.
Hey?
You had a thesaurus.
Rapscallion, yes. That's actually like, that's an ingredient in the Benedict Cumberbatch, which is, I guess, a breakfast, West Hollywood breakfast.
That's good.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
But I do have one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. Jesus. Scary. Okay. So, I didn't need glasses till I was about 50 and I wear readers and everything, but I worry now that I sometimes see two of everything. If I look at a star, or if I look at a point that's far away, I can see, or a light or something, or even that piece of tape. My brain tells me that there's two of them because maybe I'm having trouble focusing. It's not like I have double vision, but I can perceive that there's two of them. If I close one eye, then I see one of them. Mm. Or do I? Because I'm looking at it now, and my brain can also tell me that you might be seeing two of them. It's weird.
Wow.
So I'm not just like crossing my eyes, like I'm crossing my like if I cross my eyes, I see two of you.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If I cross my eyes, I see two of you.
That's a good luck. Click. But
wait, are we crossing both eyes or just one eye? Because I can do both. I can do
one too.
Okay.
You can do the thing where you move one into the other one.
Yeah.
Like billiards.
Like billiards. Yeah.
Oh my God, you can?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So,
that's so cool.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Real eyeball acting.
Oh God. I worry about that. Okay. So look. Okay. So yeah, that's right.
Am I doing it?
No.
Oh.
But look at there.
Okay.
Wait. Now look to the side. Oh no, that's not how you do it.
Let me try again. Okay. So I've crossed my eyes.
That's such a good look.
Thank you. And now I'm going to move.
It's kind of weirdly hot. You know?
Okay.
It's like a Helen Keller thing going on.
Did that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's tough to. I haven't.
You can do it?
I don't think so. No, I haven't been able. I appreciate it when I see it, but it's not something that I can do well.
You're an enthusiast.
I'm an enthusiast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does give you a headache though, even though I don't think I did it properly.
Do you need to take a break?
No, I'm good. I get that you're trying to end this.
I'm not. I have nowhere to go.
How did you learn to do this with your eyes?
I used to be in the mirror a lot, making tons of faces, tons and tons.
For your craft?
Yeah, for my craft. I was out of my mind. I mean, in high school, I used marijuana a lot.
Okay.
Back in the day when you could, clean a nickel bag on Carole King's Tapestry album and the seeds would go, right in the garbage. And would get caught up frequently while listening to music making bizarro faces in the mirror, which would make me laugh. That's why I did it.
So back to your just mirror everyone.
Sure.
Wait, are you talking about when you're crossing your eyes? You
No,
can do this. So just all the time.
Like for instance,
I mean, there is a thing where
there's a little bit. In other words, I feel like I'm questioning my own
Perception?
brain.
Yeah.
That I see. That's just single. It's there. But there's a part of me that says, "Oh, but if you mess around with your vision a little bit, you can see that it's, without crossing your eyes. There's two of them there because I feel like my
I guess we all have like a dominant eye.
yeah, maybe.
And so it's that thing where when you close one eye, the thing you're looking at moves a tiny bit because our eyes are in two different spots.
This is like, do people listen to your podcast? I mean,
They
in
do,
other words,
yeah.
is this?
I don't know
who's
about
gonna
this
listen?
one.
That's what I mean.
I don't know about this
they
one,
can't
but-
be as I'm saying all this inane stuff. Is this?
I think it's good.
Maybe should. You
should we
delete
start
the
over?
whole thing. Well,
Should we
you
start
can just
over?
trash this whole thing. I'm so
You know
sorry.
who's
This is a
definitely going to
mistake.
listen to this one is RJ.
Oh my God.
Who's RJ?
So RJ City.
Oh, RJ City.
You know
Okay.
him?
I never met him, but he's we follow each other on Instagram.
Yes.
Is he a wrestler or something?
Yeah.
Yes, he's a wrestler. And
okay.
do you follow wrestling at all?
I don't follow new wrestling, but I was a huge old school wrestler.
Okay.
Wrestler fan.
Do you know AEW? They're one of the big wrestling companies. There's like WWE. And okay, so he hosts a talk show for AEW called Hey EW, where he interviews wrestlers. It's very funny.
Is he a big wrestler? Is he like a big, physically big guy?
We've had him on in person a few times. He's not he's not like a like muscle bound,
bulky.
like he's
No.
not like a hulking figure.
Yeah.
But he's muscular.
Yeah.
And he's it's like 6'1", no, he's like 6'2", I think.
That's enough.
Anyway. But he's a huge fan of
Oh,
yours.
that's great.
huge fan of yours. So yes, he will definitely be
All right.
listening to
Hi,
this
RJ.
and retweeting.
Okay.
Apparently, he told me that you guys exchanged tweets one time.
Yeah. Back when I was on Twitter, behaving like a complete idiot. Oh, man. I went apeshit bananas on Twitter.
Was it hard to get off of Twitter for you?
I had to say, that's it. So I went cold turkey. It was bad. I was addicted to it, and it was before it really became an orgy of idiocy. And Instagram is like that for me now, too. I guess stop. I don't need it. I don't think any of us need it. Yes,
No.
it's a commercial tool, but it's bad for us. Okay? I think it really is. It's not good.
No, wait. In what? I agree with you, but like, in what way do you mean?
Because it's reducing actual physical interaction with people, and it's giving people the courage to be horrible.
Yeah.
It's encouraging bad behavior. It's not good. I'm sorry. Yes, of course it works. All these things like AI, it has a great application, but I don't think human beings enjoy high-minded pursuits anymore. I think they just want to take the easy road. It's fun to blow shit up. It's fun to incite riots.
Right. It appeals to like our most base instincts.
I guess so. It's very tribal and weird and satisfying, and
Yeah.
scares me.
Yes. We are in agreement on that one.
Okay.
Do you happen to have a hey, go fuck yourself? Speaking of.
It'd be too easy for me, and I'd probably get in trouble, politically if I said, "Hey, blunk, go f yourself." But I'll say, "Hey, ignorance."
Oh, that's so good.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
How about this? One more. Hey, weaponized ignorance.
Oh, wow.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Hilarious. Now that's a drop I can love.
Stephen Weber.
Yeah.
It was so delightful having you on the show.
I'm a blathering
No.
fool. Thank you for asking me questions and letting me talk. And
Yeah,
yak
you're
this-
welcome. I mean, I hope you don't actually feel like you blathered. I don't think you did, but I did lead you down a deep pontificating path. I mean, we
Did I
could have.
pontificate?
Do you want to have?
No, pontification is a negative thing, isn't it?
No, I think it's good.
Pontificating?
Yeah.
That means you're holding court like arrogantly, and I'm pontificating.
Not in a ponderous way.
Oh, ponderous. That's look at you.
Pete.
You also have the thesaurus, I think.
Yeah. Pete, will you look up pontificate? Because I think to pontificate just means to like make points. I don't think it means to bloviate.
Okay, I was going to say bloviate.
Yeah. What if I'm wrong,
Pontificate,
though?
express one's opinions in a way considered annoyingly pompous and dogmatic.
For real? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Where did
sorry.
you look this up? Because I've been having a lot of problems lately with online dictionaries being wrong.
Dictionary definition is from Oxford Languages, so that's pretty.
I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
I never thought pontificate had a negative connotation.
Oh.
I've been wrong this whole time.
Don't worry. You're not being sesquipedalian. Look that up, Pete. Watch what happens.
No, I am being sesquipedalian.
I don't think you are. Well, we're trying to be.
I'm failing. I'm trying and failing to be.
Characterized by long words, long-winded.
That's what sesquipedalian means? Who educated me? Because everything I think is one thing is another. I feel like, listen, guys, I feel like I'm going to...
Tell us. Go ahead.
I'm going to...
Let it go.
Okay. I'm going to unburden
Should we turn
myself.
off the lights and turn off the music? Deprive your senses.
Yeah.
I'll
Let's
turn
get
on the
inside
water.
a Merrimack.
Turn on the water. The Merrimack.
I am going to go look up pontificate, and I'm going to find it somewhere in some official source. And
That affirms your belief?
Yes.
Welcome to social media. Pete, take us out.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm just guttering at the fact that my understanding of pontificate was wrong.
Guttering.
This whole time.
Guttering?
I'm guttering.
What does that mean?
Can you look up guttering?
Sure.
I think it's sort of like shuddering.
Oh.
Like I'm just like shaking back and
Is it-
forth and just like beside myself over it.
So guttering with T's or
Yeah,
D's?
with T. I don't think D's is a word. Like I'm apoplectic. Apoplectic. I don't know. Well, lost the ability to talk.
all the things are. It's like Home Depot is all my answers here. Let me hang definition.
To gutter.
I'm Hodipoing.
Material used to make gutters.
Yeah, to gutter. I think that's not a real thing.
It's real.
Hang on,
Well,
let me look
it's
for
real.
some
It's
other.
real to you in your little bubble.
Well, then it's
Social
real.
media bubble.
I know.
That's right. People crafting an environment in which they matter.
In my echo chamber, it exists and it's real.
Ecto chamber.
All right, I'm gonna have to look it up myself.
You go to melt away through a channel out on the side of a cup, hollowed out by a burning wick of a candle.
To gutter?
What?
Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, but I don't. But that's not what that wasn't.
Yes.
Oh, like when the
when
flame gutters.
Yeah, when it builds up the wax inside and then it all of a sudden pours out the side, that's guttering, apparently.
Wow. That's happening to parts of my body.
Yeah, it's the same. I guess that's what I mean. Wow. Didn't realize that. But anyway, if you guys like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a comment. Click 5 stars. Let us know if you enjoyed the sesquipedalian pontificating. Mine, I think, at the end, maybe crossed the line. And follow me on social media at Alison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. I am on TikTok, the Alison Rosen. I mentioned Patreon. Oh my God, I forgot to mention the biggest news in my show.
Tell.
I have a new merch store,
What?
which is up and running. I haven't had merch for a number of years because I just couldn't get my shit together. But I finally did.
Yes.
We're talking t-shirts, mugs, pint glasses,
Coasters?
notebooks. I do not have coasters yet, but that's a great idea. Are you in need of coasters? Do you have like pristine furniture?
I have coffee rings all over the place.
Okay, you need get this man a coaster. And if you go to AlisonRosen.com, there's a banner at the top that says new merch or something like that. Click that. It'll take you there. Stuff is flying off the shelves, guys. Not the coasters yet, because
No.
they're not there yet, but they will be
I
soon.
hope so.
Okay.
Thank you
Where
so
can
much.
we find you?
On Instagram, actually Stephen Weber, V and 1B. I'm on the show Chicago Med, which airs Wednesdays on NBC. Eating Out with Eric and Steve, which is available wherever podcasts are begotten. I do a bunch of audiobooks.
Yes.
So you can find me on Audible. And you might run into me dumpster diving or being a Karen at Home Depot.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Or maybe like if you decide to go back to the sensory deprivation.
I'm not going back to the sensory.
You're not going back to-
No, that's done.
Okay. Good idea. I'm glad you didn't buy like a package or anything.
No.
Fuck that.
Fuck sensory deprivation.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Hey, hey, go fuck yourself.
Sensory deprivation, go fuck yourself.
Now that's good. Pete, what about you?
I tried to take a lot of time off social media, but usually I'm either Peter Bonavita or Pete the Retailer, which is my name on my...
Pete the Retailer.
Pete the Retailer.
What's that about?
I hung out with a lot of cartoonists for a while.
Did you?
And comic book. I was a comic book retailer. And,
Really?
Yeah. And
He likes comic books.
No.
I do.
This is an off-air conversation.
It is. Yeah. We'll talk.
No, I'm saying that.
No, we won't.
Oh,
I'm saying it was an off-air. He doesn't want
okay.
anything to do with
Yeah,
you. I'm
I
saying
know.
it was an
He's-
off-air
okay.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already done my off-air
I overstepped my
conversation.
bounds, and I'm sorry.
That's right.
So you're a retailer of comic books.
I was, and that's how I got introduced to a bunch of people, and so that became my nickname. And so that
Pete the Retailer.
Pete the Retailer, and I'm Pete the Retailer on.
Very Runyon-esque. That's like from Guys and Dolls. Pete the Retailer.
Right. Yeah. I got a nice suit and everything.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, that's usually where you can find me. Either one. Peter Bonavita, Pete the Retailer.
This has. You're not even going to plug your other podcast?
I felt like I was already running too long.
Okay.
What is it?
I do a
Star
very-
Wars Minute.
Yeah, I do a very silly Star Wars podcast.
Really?
Yeah. For about 10 years now. I'm doing we go through every minute of every Star Wars movie.
Good
Gets
God.
an episode. Yeah.
Wow.
And so
They
Star Wars
pontificate.
Minute. We pontificate. We bloviate. We sometimes gutter. But it depends.
I'm a Star Trek guy. Whatever.
I also did a Star Trek show, but that's a side conversation, off-air
We're
conversation.
not going to have that either.
No.
we
No.
don't.
No, he truly nothing to do with you.
I know.
He indicated that in
Pete,
so
we're
many
done.
ways.
Yeah.
You guys, this has been so much fun.
Has
Thank
it been?
you.
I hope so. It's
think
been
so.
fun for me.
Yeah, I have. I've got a last minute. Hey, go fuck yourself. And it is 2 online dictionaries.
Like Oxford.
That upstart Oxford English, the OED.
The worst.
Right.
No, but I just feel like, or maybe it's to my understanding of, I don't know. I'm just saying, lately I've encountered the fact, I've encountered a lot of words that I thought meant one thing my whole life, and now I'm finding these new definitions. Seems a little curious, doesn't it?
It's all over. We're done.
Is that what happens?
Oh, we're done. As a species, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, right. This is we're circling the drain, and
That's right.
and the way you know is because it turns out I'm wrong,
Yeah.
and that feels weird. So anyway, online dictionaries.
Hey, 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 go fuck yourself.
That's pretty.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. This was great.
Thank you.
Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show?